Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive into Grammy history.
Yeah.
Today we're going back to 2014 and 2004 to see what these awards tell us about the music.
The music of their times.
Exactly. So much can change in a decade.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be talking about some intriguing questions like, how much has the music landscape changed in a decade?
Right.
What trends have emerged? What trends have faded?
Totally.
And were there any surprising nominees or snubs?
So many snubs.
First, let's rewind to 2014.
Okay.
The big four Grammy categories always steal the show.
They do.
Album of the Year,
Record of the Year.
Song of the Year.
Best New Artist.
These are the awards everyone's watching.
For sure.
And they represent different aspects of musical achievement.
Absolutely.
So Album of the Year recognizes artistic vision across a whole album.
Yes.
What about Record of the Year?
Record of the Year is a celebration of the perfect single.
Oh.
It's not just about the song itself, but also the entire production.
I see.
The performance.
Yeah.
The mix. All the elements that come together to create that magic.
It's like recognizing lightning in a bottle.
It is.
Where everything clicks just right.
Totally.
Then there's Song of the Year.
Song of the Year.
Is that more about the songwriting itself?
Yeah, that's about the lyrics.
Okay.
The melody, structure of the song,
Right.
the heart and soul behind the music.
And Best New Artist is always exciting
So exciting.
to see who's the next big thing.
It's full of potential,
Yeah.
and it can be a predictor of lasting impact.
All right, so let's dive into the nominees for Album of the Year in 2014.
Let's do it.
We had Daft Punk
Daft Punk,
with Random Access Memories,
huge.
Kendrick Lamar with Good Kid, MAAD City,
Oh, yeah.
Macklemore and Ryan Lewis with The Heist,
Heist.
Sarah Bareilles with The Blessed Unrest,
Yeah.
and Taylor Swift with Red. Such a diverse group of artists.
Totally.
Must have been some serious competition.
Oh, yeah.
Who won?
Daft Punk for Random Access Memories. This was their first win for Album of the Year,
Really?
even though they had been icons for years.
So do you think their win signified a shift in how people perceived electronic music?
Totally. Random Access Memories wasn't just beats and synths.
Yeah.
Daft Punk brought in live musicians and collaborated with disco legends like Nile Rodgers.
Oh, well.
It was a statement that electronic music could be just as organic and soulful as any other genre.
Their win was impactful.
Yes.
Okay, moving on to Record of the Year.
Okay.
Daft Punk was nominated again.
Aww.
This time for Get Lucky.
Such a catchy tune.
I know.
They were up against Imagine Dragons' Radioactive,
Oh, yeah.
Lord's Royals.
Oh, Lord.
It had this haunting, minimalist vibe.
Right.
Bruno Mars with Locked Out of Heaven, and Macklemore and Ryan Lewis again with Thrift Shop.
That song was everywhere.
I know it was a true pop culture phenomenon, but
Yeah.
Lorde took home the award for Royals.
The Royals.
It was her breakout year.
Wow.
And it signaled a shift in pop music, a more introspective and less polished sound.
Her success might have been influenced by the rise of streaming services.
Uh-huh.
Do you think the simple production and focus on lyrics made Royals stand out?
I think so. It cut through the noise and grabbed your attention.
Even on a playlist with hundreds of other songs.
Exactly.
Next up, Song of the Year.
Song of the Year.
We saw some familiar names.
Big Lorde with Royals.
Katy Perry with Roar.
Or
Bruno Mars with Locked Out of Heaven Again.
Yes.
And Pink with Mate Roos.
Just give you a reason.
And Macklemore and Ryan Lewis.
With Same Love.
Same Love.
What a lineup.
Right.
It must have been a tough decision for voters.
I know.
Who won?
Lord's Royals continued its reign,
Really?
winning Song of the Year as well.
Wow.
It really captured a particular mood or feeling of that time.
What do you mean?
This was the era after the 2008 recession.
Right.
There was a lot of disillusionment
Yeah.
with wealth and celebrity.
Royals, with its themes of rejecting materialism and embracing authenticity, resonated with people.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah,
It's amazing how a song can become an anthem
it is.
for a whole generation.
For sure.
Finally, Best New Artist.
Yes.
This category is always exciting
So exciting.
because it's full of potential.
Right.
In 2014, Macklemore and Ryan Lewis snagged the win.
They did.
But the nominees also included Kendrick Lamar.
Yes.
He went on to win a Pulitzer Prize for his music.
I know. Groundbreaking.
It shows how rap can be recognized for its literary merit.
For sure.
Back in 2014, he was just starting to gain mainstream recognition.
Right.
Other nominees in that category included Casey Musgraves,
Casey Musgraves.
Ed Sheeran,
Ed Sheeran.
James Blake.
Wow.
Such a talented group.
I know.
So many future superstars all in the same category.
Yeah.
To sum up 2014,
Okay.
We saw electronic music breakthrough in a big way with Daft Punk's Win.
Right.
Lordi emerged as a pop powerhouse.
With a minimalist sound.
Artists like Macklemore and Ryan Lewis and Kendrick Lamar were starting to make their mark.
Yeah.
It was a year that showcased both established icons and rising stars.
Totally.
And it definitely reflected major shifts
In musical tastes.
in musical tastes and cultural trends.
Absolutely.
I'm really curious to see what the Grammys looked like a decade earlier.
Me too.
Let's rewind to 2004.
Okay.
First up, Album of the Year.
Album of the year.
This time we had Outkast's Speakerbox, X The Love Below,
Yes.
and Beyoncé's Dangerously in Love.
Her debut solo album.
From Destiny's Child to global icon.
What a journey.
The competition in 2004 was fierce.
It was.
We also had Evanescence with Fallen,
Yes, 50
and a
Cent.
50 Cent with Get Rich or Die Trying, and then Missy Elliott with Under Construction.
Under construction.
That's a completely different vibe from 2014.
I know.
Hip-hop and R&B.
We're the dominant forces.
It was a time when hip-hop was really pushing boundaries.
Pushing the envelope.
And the winner was,
Outcasts.
their double album was a bold and ambitious project.
It was.
It was a testament to their creativity and versatility.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move on to Record of the Year.
Record of the year.
Beyoncé was back in the running with Crazy in Love.
That song is still a party anthem.
It is.
It was up against the Black Eyed Peas and Justin Timberlake with Where's the Love.
Oh, wow.
Outkast was nominated again for Hey Ya.
That song was inescapable.
It was.
Evanescence's Bring Me to Life.
Yes.
And 50 Cent featuring Nate Dogg with 21 Questions.
Oh, wow.
Who took home the prize?
Outkast won again with Hey Ya.
For Hey Ya.
That song was everywhere that year.
I can still hear that catchy melody.
Me too.
Okay, let's talk Song of the Year.
Okay.
Beyoncé's Crazy in Love was nominated again.
Uh-huh.
This time facing off against Eminem's Lose Yourself.
Lose Yourself.
It became a cultural phenomenon.
More than just a song.
Resonated with people from all walks of life.
Striving for their dreams.
It's amazing how a song can have such a profound impact.
It is.
What other songs were in the running that year?
We had Coldplay with The Scientist.
Oh, yeah.
Christina Aguilera's Beautiful.
Yeah.
And of course the Black Eyed Peas and Justin Timberlake's Where's the Love.
And the winner was...
Eminem for Lose Yourself.
His music resonated with so many people.
I know.
Even those who weren't fans of rap.
Absolutely.
Okay, finally. Best New Artist in 2004.
Best New Artist.
This category is always fascinating to look back on.
Yeah.
To see who emerged as the next big thing.
In 2004, the award went to Evanescence. For their gothic rock sound, definitely made them stand out.
Do you remember hearing Bring Me to Life for the first time?
Of course.
It was such a unique blend of rock and operatic vocals.
It was a breakout moment.
Other nominees in that category included 50 Cent,
Fountains of Wayne,
Heather Headley.
and Sean Paul.
Wow, what a diverse group of nominees.
I know.
So let's recap 2004.
Okay.
Outkast dominated the awards with their innovative double album.
Right.
Hip-hop was a driving force.
It was
And we saw the early success of artists like Beyoncé and Evanescence.
who went on to become superstars.
It's amazing to see how much the music landscape can change.
In a decade.
It's like looking through a time capsule.
Each year's Grammys reflect not only the music,
But also,
the cultural and societal trends of the time.
now I'm really curious to compare 2004 and 2014 side by side
Me too.
and see what similarities and differences emerge.
This is where it gets interesting.
I think you'll be surprised by what we discover.
I think so too.
Let's dive into that comparison and see what insights we can glean.
Let's go. All right, so we've explored the Grammys of 2004 and 2014 separately.
Yeah,
But what happens when we put these years side by side?
this is where it gets interesting.
What stories do they tell us about how music evolves?
I'm ready to compare and contrast what jumps out at you first.
Well, the sonic landscape is so different.
Yeah.
In 2004, hip-hop and R&B were dominant.
Yeah.
Outkast, Beyoncé, 50 Cent, Missy Elliott.
Right.
These artists weren't just making hits. They were shaping the sound of an era.
It was a cultural movement.
Yes. Fast forward to 2014,
2014.
and electronic music is having its moment in the sun with Daft Punk.
Uh-huh.
And pop music took a turn towards a more introspective, even minimalist sound with Lorde.
It's almost as if the energy shifted, right? From the exuberance of the early 2000s to something a little more thoughtful, maybe even a bit melancholic by 2014.
It's fascinating how music can mirror the world around it.
Yeah.
The early 2000s, post 9/11,
Right.
there was this determination to keep going to celebrate life.
Okay.
By 2014, we're in the aftermath of the recession. Social media is changing everything, and there's a growing awareness of social justice issues.
Yeah.
So the music became more introspective, reflecting those complexities.
Wow, you just blew my mind.
Hmm.
I never thought about it like that,
Uh-huh.
but it totally makes sense.
Okay.
So we've got these two distinct sounds.
Yeah.
But were there any artists who bridged the gap? Any nominees in both 2004 and 2014?
There was one artist who owned both eras, Beyonce.
Exactly.
In 2004, she was nominated for Dangerously in Love, her solo debut.
Right.
And then in 2014, it's for her self-titled visual album.
Wow.
A completely different beast.
Talk about evolution. Crazy in Love was such a party anthem.
Yeah.
And then she blew everyone away with groundbreaking visuals and intensely personal lyrics on her self-titled album.
Right.
She's always pushing boundaries.
It's the mark of a true artist, isn't it?
Yeah.
That willingness to experiment, to reinvent themselves.
Totally.
Beyonce's career is a masterclass in that.
Okay.
Now let's look at the overall trajectory of some of these nominees.
All right.
Were there any surprising snubs or comebacks?
Ooh, I'm dying to know. Were there any artists who seemed to get overlooked by the Grammys
Well, both Outkast and Beyonce had already won Grammys before.
before their 2004 nomination?
Yeah. Outkast had Best Rap Album in 2002.
Okay.
And Beyonce had multiple awards with Destiny's Child.
So they weren't exactly newbies.
No.
But 2004 was like their arrival on a whole other level.
Exactly. Now, in 2014,
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar was nominated for Best New Artist in 2013, but didn't win.
Okay.
He did win 2 other Grammys that year, though,
Really?
for Best Rap Performance and Best Rap Song.
So he was already making waves.
Right.
It's incredible to see how some artists have a slow and steady rise while others just explode onto the scene.
It really is. And there are those who have staying power,
Yeah.
evolving their sound and staying relevant for decades.
It's like a marathon, not a sprint.
You got it.
We've covered a lot of ground here. We've explored the sounds of 2004 and 2014.
Yes.
We've seen how artists evolve over time.
Right.
And we even connected those musical shifts to the broader cultural landscape.
It's been a journey.
It has.
And I hope it sparks some curiosity for our listener.
Me too.
Maybe they're rediscovering artists they loved back then.
Yeah.
Or they're inspired to check out some new music based on our conversation.
I'm already adding some of these albums to my playlist. Speaking of which, if you had to choose one album from each year to recommend, what would they be and why?
Okay, for 2004, I would have to recommend Outkast's Speaker Box, The Love Below.
Oh.
It's more than just a musically groundbreaking album. It's a cultural artifact, a snapshot of hip-hop at its most innovative and influential.
I remember listening to that album nonstop back in the day.
Right?
It really captured the energy of the time.
It did. What about you for 2014?
Oh, for 2014, I think I'd have to go with Daft Punk's Random Access Memories.
Oh, good choice.
It's an album that really rewards repeat listens.
You discover something new every time.
Well, I think we've given our listener plenty to think about and listen to.
I think so, too.
Any final thoughts before we wrap up this Grammy deep dive?
I think this deep dive highlights how music acts as a mirror.
Reflecting the world around us.
Yeah, it's not just about catchy tunes. It's about capturing a feeling, a moment in time, a shared experience.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like we traveled back in time
Right.
and lived through those years again just by listening to the music.
Just by listening to the music.
What surprised you the most during this Grammy journey?
Honestly, it was how much those 2 years, just a decade apart, sounded so different.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget how quickly musical trends can change.
Right.
Hearing those albums back to back really drove that point home. And
Yeah.
of course, Beyonce's staying power is incredible.
Incredible.
She was a force to be reckoned with in both 2004 and 2014, and she's still evolving today.
I know she's like a chameleon,
Mm-hmm.
constantly reinventing herself, but always staying true to her artistry.
Always.
Okay, before we wrap up, I have to ask, what do you think the sound of 2024 will be remembered for?
Ooh, good question.
What trends are shaping the music of today?
Right.
And how might that be reflected in future Grammy Awards?
I think we're seeing a resurgence of authenticity and vulnerability in music.
Right.
Artists are being more open about their personal struggles, their mental health, their experiences with love and loss. It's like they're inviting us into their world.
Yeah.
And that resonates deeply with listeners.
It's almost like a reaction to the perfectly curated, filtered world we see on social media.
Exactly.
People are craving something real, something raw, something they can connect with
On an emotional level.
on an emotional level.
And musically, we're seeing genre lines continue to blur.
Right.
Artists are blending influences from all over the map, hip-hop, pop rock, electronic. even classical.
Ah.
It's a melting pot of sounds and styles.
Yeah.
It makes for some truly innovative and exciting music.
Right.
I think future Grammys will reflect this trend towards more personal, genre-bending, boundary-pushing music.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
It makes me want to go out and discover what's new and exciting in music right now.
Me too.
Maybe our listeners feeling inspired too.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
And I hope they'll take our album recommendations to heart.
Yes. Speakerbox says Love Below by Outkast and Random Access Memories by Daft Punk.
Right.
These are albums that will transport you back to those years, but they'll also make you think about how far music has come and where it might be headed next.
Yes, exactly.
Those albums are a fantastic starting point for anyone who wants to understand the evolution of music.
Over the past couple of decades,
What can our listener do if they want to keep exploring the themes we've talked about today?
I encourage them to listen to those recommended albums, of course.
Yeah.
But also to go beyond that.
No.
Dive into the discographies of artists who pique their interest.
Nice.
Explore the nominees and winners from other Grammy years. Pay attention to the lyrics, the production techniques, the cultural influences that shape the music.
It's like we've given them a treasure map,
Right.
and now it's up to them to go on the adventure.
Music is a vast and endlessly fascinating world,
Yeah,
and there's always something new to discover.
for sure.
So keep listening, keep exploring, and keep that curiosity alive.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining me on this Grammy deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a blast, and to our listener, thanks for being here.
Yes, thank you.
We hope you've enjoyed the journey and that you're inspired to keep diving deep into the music that moves you. Until next time.